for step 5, what you need to do is you need to either read your textbook or watch this video to understand how prices work. All right, how you can set prices and how you will determine the prices for the products for your business. What we're going to do with prices first is we are going to look at the advantages of prices. All right, what are the advantages of having prices? Why should we have prices for things? Let's look at the first reason. The first reason is that here, they favor neither the consumer nor the producer. All right, prices help both the buyer and the seller. All right, it helps the seller determine how much they can sell it for. It determines for the buyer how much they're willing to pay for something. If something is more expensive, they might not want to pay for it. Next, prices are flexible and they allow for change. All right, so what prices do is prices can change all the time, right? For example, if we have a oil shortage, gas might become more expensive, right? Or if we suddenly have a potato shortage, potatoes might be more expensive. All right, so prices are flexible, they can change at any time. All right, a store can increase or decrease prices as they wish. So here you can see what these advantages of prices are, why we have prices. Now we're going to move on to looking at a surplus. What is a surplus? All right, why we have surpluses. A surplus is this. If you look at this graph, you'll see here that the orange line is the demand curve, the purple curve is the supply curve. You can see here on one side you have price, on the other side you have quantity. Look at the X's on the top. On the demand curve, if the price is $15 for this product, only 5 of this product is demanded. Only 5 people would want this product at $15. But if you look at the supply curve, the purple curve, if this is sold at $15, they would make 15 of this product. If only 5 people want it, but this company makes 15 of it, that means there is a surplus, right? They make more than people want, which means that there's going to be too much of this thing. What this means is that the quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded. And so what happens when the quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded is that the prices will decrease. All right, the prices are going to go down because the company makes too much of something, which means they want to get rid of it. What we're going to look at next is shortage. On the opposite side of surplus is a shortage. A shortage is when the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied, which means if more people want it than the company can make. Or if more people want it, that means the prices and the supply will both increase. All right, and we've learned about this before. We've learned what happens when demand and supply increase, but now we've brought in prices, and once we have shortage and surplus, these will come together and make an equilibrium price. The equilibrium price is the middle of that curve where these numbers meet. And if you look back at this curve, it will be this spot right here, all right, where the demand and supply meet. That will create the equilibrium price. All right, and at this price, this is the price where everyone can agree on that this product will be sold at. Now you've seen how the demand and supply can affect the prices of things. So what I want you to think about is, well, how can your product be priced at, right? How are you going to decide how your product is going to be priced at to balance demand and supply? But however, there is also one little thing. What about the government? Can the government set prices for us? So I want you to look at this right here, the price ceiling. All right. Sometimes the government is going to set a price ceiling, and the price ceiling is the maximum legal price that can be charged for a product, which means what is the highest price you can possibly charge for something. And I want you to think about why might the government tell you under the law how much you can charge for something? And I would argue that this is because the government is saying that, well, to benefit everyone, to make sure that this is fair to everyone and this company cannot overcharge for something, the government may tell you how much price is. An example of that is rent in New York City. In New York City, the government set a specific maximum amount of rent that you can charge for an apartment because prices have gone up too much, and the poor were not able to afford it. So that's why they set a price ceiling. So I want you thinking about, well, does your industry have a price ceiling and how will that affect you? Below, I want you to look at a price floor. A price floor is the complete opposite. It is the minimum legal price that can be charged for a product, right? What is the minimum legal price that you can charge for something? And why the government might set this one is because they want to make sure that demand is controlled, that you don't have too many people wanting this thing, and if this gets too cheap, everyone might buy it. An example of this would be alcohol, right? The government sets a minimum price for alcohol so that not too many people buy it. So now that you know how the government sets prices, how the business sets prices, I want you to think about this example right here. We're going to look at this example. This is a highway right here. On the side of this highway, at this exit right here, the gas station charges $4.19 a gallon for gas. But if you go further out, away from the highway, they charge $3.69. I want you thinking about why this is. Why is it that the closer to the highway, the more expensive the gas? All right? And if you think about it, I would argue that it's because the closer to the highway, the more demand, right? People don't want to drive far out for gas. So once they get off the highway, they're going to find the first gas station. So this gas station can afford to charge $4.19 for gas because that's how much people will pay for. All right, but once you drive further out, $3.69, once people drive further out, they're not going to want to pay so much for gas. And the demand is lower because it's further out from the highway. So think about the demand for your product, where your product is placed, and how much you can charge for it so that people will actually buy your product. And you're going to answer the questions at the bottom of the sheet and go through and write the 2 paragraphs that analyzes the prices for your product.